something a little different for you today. It's going to require a tripod and a telephoto lens, because my main subject is about 230,000 miles away, and my foreground interest is about 10 miles away. Look at this. We're here down at the Ayrshire coast to try and photograph the moon setting behind the Isle of Arran. I just need to try to find an interesting foreground other than the castle. Right, how's this for a first shot? Basically, I'm using this reflection in this rock pool, the moon above, the reflection below, and then this beautiful light on the water here. And then you've got the island of Arran in the background. I'm having to work quite quick because what you probably can't tell from this angle is the sun's coming up quite quickly. So I'm having to work quite fast because I do want to try and capture quite a few moonscapes, as I'm going to call them, before I move slightly further up the coast and make use of the old pier and try and get the alpine glow on the mountains of Arran when the sun finally climbs above the horizon, which I think is probably about 15 to 20 minutes from there, so I don't have an awful lot of time. But that is beautiful, isn't it? Just very relaxed, very serene. What I've done is I've taken two exposures, one where I've focused on the foreground rocks and another one where I've focused on the summit of Goat Fell, and I'm hoping that everything will be sharp in the frame if I come to do any sort of exposure blending. We're just starting to get a little orange tint on Goat Fell and Kiermore, so I'm going to have to be very quick. But this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Right, we are starting to just pick up a little bit of very diffuse, very faint light just above the mountains, and just up here the mist that we have is starting to pick up a little orange tint as well. Right, I've taken a couple of shots. I'm now moving round to the other side of the castle because I want to see if I can include the castle, something like this. Just not sure where the angle will be. The things we do. Yeah, that looks alright, doesn't it? Got the castle, got another convenient pool. Got these interesting rocks. Okay, so this is the composition I've set up here. As you can see, we've got the reflection of the moon still in that foreground rock pool. We've got that beautiful light just hitting the clouds above Arran, and we still have the moon included. So it's starting to get noticeably brighter though, so I think we're fast running out of time. I may go slightly more to the left, remove the castle and make more of these foreground rocks while we still have some darkness to work with. Yeah, I like this. We've obviously, well, we've lost the castle and we've also lost the reflection of the moon. But I don't think that matters. I think that's a better composition because we can now do something with these foreground rocks. Although I do intend to render them very dark, so you might not see too much of the detail. But yeah, I like that. And we still have the little splash of light in the foreground, even though we don't have the moon. You still have the sky reflected in that foreground pool. So I like that. I'm going to grab this shot. Right, I've taken that shot. I'm now moving further along. There's a little kind of bay, which I'm going to try and include. It's getting very bright, so I'm running the risk of losing some of the light, or the lack of light actually, because I'm concentrating on the lack of light today. Kind of make something of the, yeah, there might be a shot there. Just need to find an angle. That's the angle, isn't it? You got that, the mast of that foreground boat rising up, but it's not really obscuring any of the main mountains. Kind of pointing up towards the moon. You got nice reflections in the sand in the bay. Yeah, I'm going to grab that. Is there a shot there? Ignoring the houses but including the castle and these three boats and the nice little flash of colour beyond. Yeah, do you know what, I'm going to grab it. It's not really what I came to shoot, but it looks nice. And if I go wide enough, I guess you can still include the island of Arran, which is what I came to shoot. Yeah, why not? Can you believe they flew right in front of the moon and I didn't get the shot? Amateur. Right, I'm going to move on before I miss another great shot. Well, that's a great shame. I mean, you know, it's still a bit early in the morning, but it's always bad when somebody bans you from the pub, isn't it? You must know me. Right, change of plans. I was going to go down the rocks on the left of the pier, but then I realised that if I come up onto the rocks on the right of the pier, I get a little bit of elevation. That gets you the line of the pier below the line of the island, so you've got some separation there. Still include the moon. You've got these foreground pools, again, breaking up the dark foreground. And I need to be very quick now because I can see we're starting to get some light on Arran. So I need to be very, very quick now. I'll grab this shot and then I'll switch over to my telephoto lens. So it must be just after 7 because there goes the first boat to Arran. Oh, I've caught that many times, I tell you. Back in my youth when I used to go climbing up Goatfell and Cairnmore. That's been a while. Anyway, still no direct light as such, but I do like that as a composition. Slightly lowered, well, see, it's one of those ones and it's a compromise. If you go slightly higher up, you can include the moon. If you go slightly lower down, you can include the foreground, or you can go a lot wider. That looks to me like we've got just a little hint of sun hitting the border. That's Little Cumbria, isn't it? Actually, I was there not last summer, maybe the summer before. I'll leave a link to the video when I went to Little Cumbria. I shot the castle there, went up over the top of that hill and down to the other side where there's a beautiful old lighthouse. I'll leave a link to that. So if light's hitting Little Cumbria, then presumably there is a break in the cloud somewhere and it might well hit Arran soon as well. In fact, it looks as though we are just starting to get some light on Arran. I'm going to quickly change to the telephoto lens now and see if we can get some details. We may not have the direct light I was hoping for, but this is absolutely spectacular. I'm loving this. There's a kind of almost like ethereal soft glow. I think there must be some mist between here and Arran, and that's really giving the whole background quite a soft feel. I've got to say, for me, Portcross has always been a sunset location, because normally what happens is the sun will set, depending on time of year obviously, the sun will set somewhere behind Arran or slightly to the north of it, and that's usually guaranteed to produce some quite dramatic effects. I've had some absolutely stunning sunsets here in the past. In fact, I'll throw a couple of images on the screen. But this is the very first time I've ever tried shooting sunrise here, and again I think it's got a bit of potential in the right conditions. Maybe with the moon setting slightly further south behind the mountains. That would be an impressive shot. Right, what do you think of this shot? Basically, I found these little daisies down here and these rocks, and we've still got a separation between the bottom of the island and the top of that pier. I'm avoiding the boulders and the blockage on the pier here. We've got some beautiful light on the clouds, and just above we still have the moon. Now, what you might be able to tell from this video, if I darken it down a little bit, is we're now starting to get just a little bit of direct light on the mountains. I'm just thinking, I haven't actually been over to the island of Arran for a couple of years, so I've actually got plans to go over before the end of this year. So if you'd like to see what I make of this absolutely beautiful island, then be sure to hit subscribe. That way you'll not miss it when I finally go. I'd imagine it's probably going to be some point in the next maybe 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. So that's it for this video, and sunrise over the Isle of Arran and the beautiful Firth of Clyde. Never shot sunrise from here before, but I've got to say it's got a lot going for it, so I think I'll be back, especially in a couple of weeks' time when we've got some snow on the mountains. That could really make all the difference. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, and if you haven't yet subscribed, then feel free to hit subscribe. That way you won't miss the epic video that's coming from Glencoe, but that's a few weeks away. I was actually just about to leave, but as I was making my way back around towards where I've parked the car, I came across this scene where you've got just a little slither of light hitting these foreground rocks, and then you've got the gap, and then the Isle of Arran in the background, which is just catching the light, and you've even got still got this little line of water here, which is leading up to the dried out harbour. And in terms of layers, I quite like that. So I've already packed the camera away, but I think I might get it back out just for this, because that looks lovely. Probably just handheld though. Let's see what we can do for one last shot.